You know, when I think of fasting, I don't think of like, oh, I'm going to limit the intake of food I get. I think of Michael Scott from The Office going, I'm really fast.
I'm very fast.
Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Amber Rose, also known as The Religious Hippie. You can basically follow me on any social media platform, or you can go to my website at thereligioushippie.com. So it turns out fasting actually comes from prehistoric Germanic, and it basically used to mean to have firm control of oneself. I don't know, I still think of Michael Scott, but you guys can think whatever you want. So today's video is going to be a beginner's guide to fasting. Since I get a lot of questions about fasting and we are in the season of Lent, I thought this would be the perfect time to put out a fasting video. So without further ado, we're just going to jump in. So the first thing I want to talk about is, what is fasting? Fasting is when we limit the amount of food we eat. For Catholics, this specifically means we have one regular sized meal and then we have two snacks that when put together do not equal a full meal. The only people who are excused from fasting in the Catholic faith are those who have medical needs where you actually need to eat food consistently, such as diabetes, or if you're pregnant. It's also not binding on those who are 17 and younger or 60 and older. I also want to mention really fast here, a lot of times people tend to confuse fasting and abstinence. So fasting is when we limit the amount of food we eat, and abstinence is when we're cutting out a certain kind of food. So the second thing we're going to go over in today's video is, why do we fast? Why do we fast? We fast to practice detachment and to become more spiritually aware, and it also helps if we fast and also pray because it helps strengthen our petitions. It allows us to learn how to suffer well and also how to put off momentary pleasure for a greater goal. But I also want to put in a reminder here that we should not appear as though we are fasting, and we should not use fasting to get any kind of sympathy or attention. This is also in the Bible. In Matthew 6:16, Jesus states, "When you fast, do not look somber as the hypocrites do, for they disfigure their faces to show others they are fasting. Truly, I tell you, they have received their reward in full." Essentially, don't let fasting become a source of spiritual pride. The third thing we're going to talk about in today's video is, what are the fasting rules? Fasting is binding on ages 18 to 59. However, when I was growing up, my parents made sure that I understood the importance of fasting. So if you have kids, or maybe you are a little younger, you can still practice fasting in small ways, but you are not bound by it until 18 years of age. As stated before, you can have one regular meal and then you can have two small snacks that when put together do not actually equal a full meal. Unless of course you have some sort of medical condition, you're pregnant, you have an eating disorder, or you have diabetes, something of that nature. So the next thing we're going to go over is, when do we fast? We are required to fast on Ash Wednesday and Good Friday, and on Good Friday we end up fasting until the Easter Vigil, which is Saturday night.
Is it visual?
Vigil.
Is it Easter visual?
Same thing. On Ash Wednesday and Good Friday, we are also required to abstain from meat. So that's basically the summary of fasting for you guys who are maybe beginners, or maybe you guys just wanted to know a little bit more. But I'm now going to talk about some of my favorite foods to eat while fasting. I love food so much. Woo! Okay. One of my go-to foods for fasting, especially if it's going to be one of the snacks, is eggs and some type of carb. Usually it's potatoes or it's toast or something of that nature, but I absolutely love that snack because it's really high in protein and is calorically dense, and so it keeps you full for a really long time. Granola bars are really good to have on hand also for a snack. I usually get like the actual granola and not necessarily the bars because I feel like the bars just have so much sugar in them, but I really love granola. I usually make it myself. It's really, really good. Another one of my favorite snacks is canned tuna and pita chips. This is kind of gross to some people, but it's delicious to me. So if you guys like it, comment below because I think it's delicious. And then the last two things I really like is avocado toast. I know that sounds super cliche for a young person because I feel like every single influencer to ever exist eats avocado toast. I personally have never liked the taste of avocado toast, but I like avocado and toast. I don't put the avocado on the toast. I like And then the last thing I like to eat when I'm fasting is salmon and rice. It's just enough to be a snack. I don't make a whole meal out of it. Usually I have a little fillet of salmon and I'll like shred it up and I'll just put a little bit of rice on top, and it's a good snack as well. Okay guys, with all of that being said, that was my beginner's guide to fasting. Let me know if you learned anything new or what your guys' favorite foods are below, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Bye!